We had some questions about, can you turn off the setting for students seeing each other's work? So you address that. Someone said, how can we see our folder? And then you address that. Leonie's got a question about Teams, and I answered that one for her. There was a question here about printing from Seesaw. Can you do that?
Yeah, so I'll go through that maybe in the next section, Mike. So the two things I'll probably go through is just the folders. I probably didn't handle how to place them into folders a little bit. I'll do that first off. I'll make a note of that. And the other one, Mike, was the printing. Okay, printing off. Yep.
Yeah, and then similar to folders, I guess, Daniel was asking, can you have more than one class, like art and language? But maybe you want to just talk through the difference between class versus folder on.
Yeah. Yep.
And in terms of input, like there's a couple of good questions around. Is there length on video or audio that you're allowed to put in there?
I think there is, Mike. I'd have to double check that, but I've never been pulled up in regard to the length of it. So I would imagine it's fairly decent. But I also think small and sharp are probably better than too long-winded. I don't think it's the kind of platform where you're going to do a 45-minute lesson and then post that. I think you probably want to keep it short and sharp. Yeah,
I'm talking about limits. Is there a limit to how many multimedia attachments students can upload per activity?
No, not that I'm aware of, but we can actually test that out a little bit. They can do multiple, but once again, I always probably thinking at home, Wi-Fi, surrounding environment. Remember, you're sending this to the cloud and back. Just be aware of the iPad takes a high resolution video. So you're talking about big file types. So once again, maybe keeping it a little bit shorter.
Yeah, good choice. So another one around more than one multimedia. So for example, upload a PDF as well as a video link. So you've covered that. Can you tell us a bit more about the blogs and how that function works? Is that coming up in your next session?
It's not, because it's a paid feature. But if we get to that, we'll have a look at that if we've got time going forward. At this time, I think Seesaw has made that and the skills actually free, but I would imagine that will switch off at some stage. So we really just wanted to show you the free at this stage and then look at the extensions later.
Yeah, great.
All right.
A couple more questions just before you bounce out. Can you turn on the comment function for individual activities instead of having it turned on as a general setting? That's a good question.
That's a very good question. I think it's a blanket decision on comments, yes or no.
Okay.
If you feel like you've got some subgroups that are not anticipating it, you could theoretically just have some different groups associated and actually have it turned off for one class and another class, but it's kind of doubling up. I'm unaware of it, but I could certainly have a quick search and see if that's a possibility.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you come across this? Monique was saying of having issues uploading YouTube video links of more than one in my activity. I ended up having to create 3 separate activities so the links would work.
Yeah.
Is there a way to make this work without doing it?
So links are problematic because it only has the one area for it to actually click on. It's a little bit different than the Canvas where you can put multiple photos on a screen and a PDF. When you're attaching something like a link or a PDF, it has restrictions on the number of those, obviously, because it doesn't know how to present that to the young kids. You know, it's basically just one attachment going forward. So, yeah, I understand. It's probably better to break them into smaller little activities going forward, I think, more than having a one. I'll also show you an announcement, how you can make some announcements to all of your staff, so all of your children, sorry. So it's not so much an activity, but an announcement as well. That might be where you can put some multimedia in there as well.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Kerry's got a question about scheduling. Can you schedule it to go? I assume this is what the question means. I'll read the question and you see if you interpret it the same as me. Can I schedule an activity for a specific day, or is it recommended to assign it the same day you would like it to be completed?
That's a really good question. I think because we're dealing with younger children often with Seesaw, not all the time, sometimes it's upper primary as well, I think your ability to schedule it is perfectly fine. I think we need to give our young children a time to complete tasks when they're ready and their family and their environment's ready, less than let's all get on at this specific time. I think you've got to give them a little bit of leeway. But also be aware that we don't want to be scheduling for, say, Sunday night or night times in case they are on their iPads and they're looking for activities to do. So I'd be scheduling me personally, 8:40, 9 o'clock in the morning, just like a normal school day. We come in, oh, there's an activity assigned for me. Let's get started, go from there.
Yeah. Another good question. This may be coming up later about parent access. So can parents access activities and respond through their account, particularly for young students?
Yeah, so that's something that you need to set up basically from a school point of view. So we've had multiple discussions at my old school and we didn't go down that path. For the simple fact is we needed to get a really grip on why we would be sharing with our parents. That doesn't stop them being next to them and doing the activity together and seeing what's happening and actually joining in on the activity itself. But in regard to sharing specific activity and announcements and class blogs and things like that, you've got to set that up as a separate entity. And I would encourage you to talk to your admin about that. I think that's something that you probably need to do first before you jump into that and say, I'm sending it to parents, because that's when you get issues from a collective.
Yeah, that's good. Kate just said in chat that you can record up to 5 minutes by the looks of things.
Yep.
Someone was just having an issue uploading a PowerPoint. Somebody else suggested maybe you just put that as a PDF. Or the other option you could be have it as a PowerPoint live and then just drop the link to that PowerPoint and they'd go and watch it. Would you recommend one over the other, Paul?
Yeah, or even just screenshotting your slides or export as a series of pictures and break it down into sections a little bit. I will show you how to add a page to your assignments. So you can actually go page to page to page down and actually give it a little bit of structure going down that way.
Excellent. Maybe just one or two more questions and I'll let you launch back into round two. Jade's asking, how can we make sure students don't log into another student's profile?
Yeah, really good question. One of the things that we did starting off was the one-to-one, if you remember, where the students had to select their name when they went into the class QR code. We used to have a setting where we had one of the other settings and the students did their work and then they had to pick their name at the end of it. And what that did is if they got that last step wrong, it's basically sending their work as someone else. And I guess that's just something that you've got to manage and talk to your kids about, looking at that little icon at the top left-hand corner and saying, am I Barry? I will show you how you can change the student little icons of the snake to actually pictures of themselves or little illustrations. That might help them recognize who they're actually in and what kind of profile they're actually in at the start.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Maybe the last one, and you might come to this a bit later, but can you show how to upload a video?
Yeah, I can do that. Absolutely.